I walk the street with a pop collar. Talk is cheap, but I'm top dollar. The game just got.
Hello and welcome to The Review. My name is Tara Newton-Wordsworth and today we're here with hip-hop artist Essa, formerly known as Yungun. Thank you so much for joining us, Essa.
Pleasure.
So you've recently released a new album. It's been 10 years since your first album release. How do you feel about this latest one?
Very pleased, you know, it's been a long time in the making, so you're right, it's 10 years since my first album. I did another one in 2006, but either way there's been a long gap between records, you know.
And what's the cause of the suspension? It wasn't procrastination or a loss of direction. I was getting a qualification in a proper profession. Call me Essa.
It feels good to finally release this project, which has been kind of a pet project for quite a while for me. And out of all of the things I've done in music, creatively, artistically, I'm probably the most proud of this because it's a real personal statement, basically, about my view on the world, my worldview.
I'm going in strong this time, and I've been doing this for the longest time, so I can't go wrong this time. Metronome flow is on this time, yeah, and I'm on the rise. You don't comprehend, we don't compromise. FBI's most wanted vibes, the beat murder, homicide. I'm stepping in hot this year, taking it up to the top this year, yeah. Spit so damn sharp, Vince Van Gogh if I chop this ear. So listening clear, when I'm in position, in gear, shifting and steering, Michelin's veer. When I hit the finish line, I'll be singing this here.
And you're releasing another part to it shortly, aren't you?
Yeah, so the album's called The Misadventures of a Middleman, and we're about to release the epilogue, which is kind of, you know, an addendum to the album in a way. It's an EP of some additional tracks which kind of have the similar theme and kind of work within the framework of the whole project, but we wanted to keep the album short and concise. So this EP is kind of a little top-up, basically.
Fantastic. And so you're also a lawyer, and you studied at Eton. Is that
Yeah, so
is
I
that
went
right?
to school at Eton,
Right.
and then after school I went to UCL University and studied law. And when I was there, that's kind of the same time that I was beginning my career in music. And my first album came out just after I graduated, and when I was beginning to make the shift from being a law student to becoming eventually a trainee lawyer and then a qualified lawyer. All the time while I was doing my degree and while I was at law school, I was writing and recording songs and doing gigs.
Who'd have thought, man, this young gun is grown older, a workaholic, and I'm never coming home sober. Now my girl thinks I'm giving her the cold shoulder. Feels as if I don't know her, see she froze over. I'm feeling weak now, getting weak in my feet now. Your IQ, man, I beg you turn that beat down. You can wake me up later, I'm asleep now. Nah, man, bring it back. This is that night time. I got the stamina. Boy, you know we're knock another day off the calendar. This is that hotness. Prof S spitting flow. All I want is props and a little dough. In it though. What's your name? E to the S, the S, the A. Call me Young Gun if you like, but that was
After the first album came out, things really kind of took off, and I got more and more busy with it, travelling all over the place. And then I did an album with Mr. Thing, who has been my DJ for many, many years, a very close friend of mine.
You thought that I'd forgot, right? No. You're thinking I'm a flop, right? No. Thinking I'll sell out for the spotlight? Nah, not wise. Top guys never move if it's not wise. Thought I'd switch, huh? Start acting like a bitch, huh? Never there. Nah, that ain't in the picture. So they can't stop wise. Top guys never move if it's not wise.
Since doing the last album, between 2006 and now, you know, my career in law has become more and more involved, and more demanding. So it's been quite hard to complete an album to the standard that I've always wanted to. And I didn't really cut any corners with this record, the new album. I brought in live musicians and kind of made the music a bit more highly produced, more sophisticated in terms of how it's put together, which took ages. Especially when I was squeezing it in on weekends and evenings and early mornings and lunch breaks and everything else, you know, so that's my excuse for the long delay.
Speaking of which, do you think that, like, did you ever sort of think, oh, I'm not doing law, I'm just going to focus on music? Or did you ever think, oh, I'm not going to do music, I'm just going to focus on law? Or has it always been hand in hand?
Most people would think, you know, what you just said, like, surely you do the two different things and you're going to pick one over the other at some time. But actually, the way it evolved over time was that I was pursuing them both anyway. And it just never really made sense to drop one of them. But the stuff I was doing with music, I first got into it, it sounds corny, but really just for the love of doing it. You know, I got ambitious with it because the scene that I was involved in started to grow a bit and started to realise I can actually do something with this rather than just mess around with friends and have fun with it. I can actually get paid to do it and make it more of a thing. They're just both good things. I didn't want to give either of them up, which is, you know, maybe naive because actually it's been very hard to sustain the two. But also it's a unique position I'm in. Yeah. And, you know, I'm incredibly making music and doing good things with it. And I've got a great career in law, and that's good. You know? I'm lucky to have either of those, and to have both is particularly fortunate. So.
What about coming from, you know, being well educated and everything? Did you find it difficult at all being in the hip hop world? Because often that feels like it's, you know, a lot about struggle and, you know, not having any money or not having education or, you know, living on the street and that kind of thing.
Well, I'm from a middle class background basically, and, you know, hip hop has got a working class thing about it if you want to talk about it in class terms. And yeah, it was awkward at some points. I mean, I just thought some people don't like me. You know, they don't think I've got any place in the hip hop world because I'm too posh. You know, but other people don't really care. And actually, what I've been trying to do is always be upfront and myself and honest, and I've never really put on like a tough guy image or anything like that, or tried to be street, whatever that means.
You've got a son now, he's 6 months old.
Yeah.
There are quite a few things that were sort of coming together while you were doing the album. Do you think, you know, that's affected how you've been writing as well?
It's quite interesting because there's a song on the record about men and their fathers. You know, it's called Man Enough. Yeah. And it was really mostly written, you know, inspired by my own relationship with my father and lots of people around me. And I've seen issues they go through, or just stuff that I've come across, and tried to. You know, it's a difficult relationship for everyone. Every son clashes with their father at some point, and I wanted to write about that. And I did that and completed the song, and then became a father afterwards. Yeah. And now listening back to it, I think, wow, like I'm going to be looking at this whole thing from a different. Or I am already looking at this whole thing from a different perspective now, as the father, not the son. And you know, and what does that mean? And that's kind of another. And some of the things that I've said in it, you know, have even more meaning for me now that I'm the father of a boy in particular. It's like, it's quite interesting. But that, you know, looking back on it later, people might wonder if the song was written with my son in mind, but actually it was done before he was even an idea.
Now I don't say this because I have to impress you, but I'm educated, male, young, black and successful, and that's one rare combination. You look across the nation. One of these days I wanted to change, I've almost lost my patience. Not quite, cause it's a lost fight. The day that I let that stop right, I know this weight I carry is for my extended family. Trees with different branches, so many kids that's fathers. Father's a kid, father just hit more kids that missed their fathers. Enough love I'd give my father, cause I was given chances. But there were so many questions, I wasn't given answers. And I get mad about the things we never chat about. Until we have it out, all we do is drag it out. That's why I'm having doubts, can we turn it back around? Madness how we made our common ground into the battleground. Hang-ups are handed down, I'ma take the baton now. Tell me this ain't what being a man's about.
Whatever the price I have to pay, I'm gonna live my life my way. Never been one to shy away.
Shy away.
'Cause I